All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Keeping the Faith. This is the first podcast with Faith Green, who is my dear friend here, telling her story based on her book, The Monster That Unalived His Family Twice. We can't say that K word on some social media outlets, but you can put it together what it means. So, what I'm going to do is show you all the video of the unfortunate tragedy that happened to Faith and her family, and another family previous to hers. And then we're going to talk.
One night in 1991, Gregory Green contacted the authorities and waited patiently for them to arrive, where they found Tanya Clayton Green, his wife, who was 8 months pregnant, stabbed to death by her husband. She had been stabbed in the neck, back, chest, and cheek. Gregory was arrested and eventually pleaded no contest to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 15 to 25 years in prison. But then, after about 16 years in prison, he was let out on parole with the help of his family, friends, and a pastor who fought for him and whose daughter Green would eventually marry. Faith Harris Green said that after the birth of their first child, Coy, the man she used to love, was no longer the same person. And that came to a head early in the morning of September 21st, 2016, when Faith Harris Green found herself tied with duct tape and zip ties in the basement of their home in Dearborn Heights, Michigan. She had been shot in the foot, and a box cutter was used to slash her face. Her two teenagers, who were Gregory's stepchildren, were dragged out and shot in front of her. She had to watch them die. The other two children's bodies were discovered upstairs. They were victims of carbon monoxide poisoning. Gregory had suffocated them while they were in the car by putting duct tape over the car's muffler and running a plastic tube into the inside of the family vehicle. He then later brought the children's bodies into the house and placed them upstairs. Authorities say that Green then called 911 and waited for the police to come, just like he did when he killed his first wife. And as he was being arrested, he confessed to the slaughter of his family. At his trial, Faith Harris Green talked to him directly for what might be the last time, saying, "You are a con artist, you are a monster, you are a devil in disguise, and you have been exposed." Gregory Green was found guilty of 4 counts of second-degree murder, torture, and assault with the intent to do great bodily harm. Gregory was sentenced to prison, and he won't be eligible for parole until he's 97 years old.
Okay. Um, so, as we saw, that's in summary what happened. And what we're trying to do, and I think I can speak for you as well, Faith, is like the incident that happened with 9/11. It was a tragedy. And I just heard a story about beautiful things that came from that tragedy, families meeting and joining together and, just bringing life and good things coming from that. And I said, I want that for my friend. And so, regardless of what happened on that day, we are going to try to bring some good from it. And if we can save one person, then we have done a lot. So, what we're going to do is we're going to ask some questions. And we're hoping that this can not just heal us, because this is a society problem. It's not just a Faith Green problem. This is friends of the children. This is neighbors. This is co-workers of Faith and friends that she grew up with. This is a society problem. So I ask that you have grace. And I just want to do just a quick disclaimer and then we'll get started. And I ask that you have grace. If there's something that you would like to know, then let me know. I will be screening every question that comes from any platform that I do, because this is not just a story. This is not just a podcast. This is my friend. And we are trying to get through this together, like I said, to do something good. So no negativity, only love and respect and, upliftment here. That's what we want. We want to help. And that's why we're doing this, because it's not easy. And I won't even act like it is. So I want to start by introducing Faith Green and asking you, Faith, just to tell us a little bit about you and about you. I know everything is linked to this unfortunate tragedy that happened in your life, but you were a person before September 21st, 2016, and way before that. And so if you can kind of talk about that.
Thanks for everybody that's tuning in and listening right now. My name is Faith Green. It is it isn't easy to talk about, but my children are my world. It's hard to talk about them in the past still. I still say they are my world. They are still my everything. I try to give them the best life that I didn't have. The love that I didn't receive growing up, the extracurricular activities, family trips, sitting down, talking about their feelings, expressing, how they felt. That was very important to me because that's something that I missed out on growing up. Um, our family was very busy, very oriented, very loving. We did a lot of family events together, a lot of barbecues, a lot of just spare the moment, getting together. That's something that doesn't happen anymore. I've been told by my family I was the glue to the family. So once my children passed on, that basically destroyed our family, and we don't even have family events or anything like that anymore. But I was the type of mom where if I could make it happen for my children, that's what I did. I would ask their grandparents, cousins, aunts. I was big on family support because for a long time I was there, and then I got married. But even though I was married, I still was doing everything on my own. So I still needed that support with 4 children. So that's basically how my life was. We interacted with a lot of people, which I didn't even realize until after, when people started reaching out and was like, remember this and remember that. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even remember, but it touched me so much. Even like with my daughter's friends, they still keep in touch with me, my son's friends. Um, there's been so much support, so much love. It's so important when you lose a family member or multiple family members, to have that support, because you don't know how you're going to be. You don't know you don't even know what your next move is. You don't even know what you're thinking. I couldn't tell you if I was going left, right, up, down. A lot of times they expect you to be the same, and you're not. I lost myself. I was literally losing my mind. When someone takes everything that you love away from you, you know what I'm saying? You love your children more than yourself, more than anyone on this earth. And that's how I still feel about my children. So once I was able to start healing and get to a better place where I got my self help, I always told myself I didn't want to stay stuck because I wanted to give back. I wanted to be able to help someone that went through the same thing that I'm going through or went through, or it may still currently be going through. So that's what my passion is now, to help women, to help young girls. So if they're in a domestic situation, to let them know that there is hope, that they're not alone. A lot of times it's not talked about. When I was going through my situation, I was talking about it. Nobody ever referred me to go get help. No one ever told me, oh, go to this program. That was never told to me.
Yes, yes.
Not until after it was too late.
Right.
So I want people to know that there are resources, there are programs out there that can help you, so that you can take that step to get help. Because my process, my thinking was, oh, let me here and save money, go back to work, save money so I can just move my children.
Mhm.
But you never know what your abuser is thinking. You never know what's going through their mind. It doesn't matter if they have a record, don't have a record. Once they get it in their mind, they snap. That's it. You have no control of that.
Yeah.
So when you're preparing to leave, that is the most crucial, the most detrimental time ever. And that's something I never even knew about.
Right.
So
Yeah. That's important too. And we're going to get to that with a lot of these questions.
yeah.
So, because Faith is my friend, I gave her all of these questions, so she knows what I'm asking. But I think that they're important, and we got to talk about the monster, and his actual name is Gregory. So when you hear that, you'll know for the audience who that is. So, what was your relationship like with Gregory when you guys first met? Red
See,
flags here too. So point those out.
um, okay. Well, when we first met, he was quiet, kind, thought he was handsome. Um, a big part of it was because I liked him when I was younger. He's 10 years older than me because he used to
Mhm.
go to my dad's church before, so that played a big part in excuse me, played a big part in that. He was always like attentive, helpful. When I would cook and things like that, he would come over and help me, cut greens, just different things like that. Or if I needed to carry things to the car, or that's how it started. And we started dating, going out, spending time together, then eventually including the children. They were a little bit younger then. I think they were probably maybe 8 and 10, somewhere around it. At that time, they were able to bond with him. And then eventually we end up
Well, say the eventually, because I think you're gonna go cut into one of my other questions.
okay, yeah. So for a while they bonded, they got along, they liked them, and then we lived together for a brief time.
Okay. Okay. So did you ever discuss his past criminal case? And if not, why?
Prior to us moving together, I did ask him. He never told me anything about the story that's all over the news now. That never came up. What was always said was that um, he and his ex-wife were arguing, pushing each other. She fell and hit her head. That's what was said. And there was nothing ever talking about like a knife involved, or um, if I would have known something like that ahead of time, I would have made a completely different decision.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. Did all of the children live with you and Gregory?
Yes, children.
Oh, okay. All right. Were there any red flags with Gregory that you didn't think was a big deal, but in hindsight, it was a red flag?
Um, yeah, at first I didn't think it was a big deal as far as like just attitude, mood swings. Sometimes I just felt like, oh, he's just tripping, he's just in a bad mood, but as time went on, his behavior became odd. Like I'll leave the room, come back, and I'm like, well, what just happened that quick? Just like a completely different person. Just
Mm,
snapping, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not dealing with this because I'm like, I don't even know what's going on right now. So it was like weird things like that, and then he would do things where our oldest daughter together, he would say like, I can leave her, but I couldn't leave the baby, things like that. He would do a lot of weird things like
why
that.
do you think he said that?
Honestly, I don't know. I think just not wanting to deal with her because when I had the baby, the youngest one, he didn't with her for a while.
Mm,
And then until when I went back to work, a little before that, he had to start really interacting with her. So I really don't know what the problem was. I asked him, he just told me he wanted a boy. I'm like, well, you have a girl, so I don't know what the
right.
problem is. So I don't know if it was just something in his mind, and I don't even know.
Yeah.
It
Did
never
anyone ever
really,
warn you about Gregory at all?
no,
Nobody never told you, oh,
no.
I don't know about this
One friend,
guy.
I just had one friend. She just said like something seemed a little off about him, but nothing to where like my life was going to be in danger or my children's life
Right,
was going to be in danger.
right. So, like we got our inner conscience and our discernment, it speaks to us. Did you ever have any, like, I don't know, like horrific thoughts or anything, like, how, or maybe a dream, or I don't know.
Not for a long time. The only time I had like an inkling, that was right around the time, he knew that we were going to get divorced. He got served papers. Um, I can't remember like the time frame, but I remember one day just, um, I don't know if I felt like, I don't know if I felt like I don't really feel like he was gonna do any like really harm me, if that makes sense. But I
Mm-hmm.
felt like maybe something potentially could happen. I remember sleeping with pencils in my bathrobe because I was just like, he's gonna probably wake me up. That's something that he would do, wake me up out of my sleep
Mm,
time. It's
yeah,
like, I'm tired of this. I don't know. It was just one time I just felt really weird, but he never bothered me that night when I felt like that. And then that was the only time really.
right. So, how was Gregory's relationship with all the children? And was there a difference in the way he treated the children? Because if we recap, your two youngest was with Gregory, and your two oldest was with your previous relationship. So, he was their stepfather. So, how would you describe the relationship with all of the children
Um,
individually?
Really, um, he 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 liked my son. He liked my son Chad. He didn't have a problem with Chad. It was like for a while he liked Kara, but then he started doing things where he would be picking with her, saying like she's slamming doors, like just when she would close the door. I don't know if it was like the clicking of the door, like when it closed. That really bothered him. For some reason, that would set him off. A few different times he took her doorknob off. And my son called me when I was at work and was like, "Mom, he only does this when you're not here." He took her doorknob off. They just got in a screaming match, and my children are very respectful children. They don't argue with grown-ups. They don't do any of that kind of stuff. So for my son to call me and tell me that, Greg and Kara got into a screaming match, something definitely had to have happened. He had to really have pushed
Hmm.
her butt back like that.
Yeah.
So, so I tried to talk to him about it, and he just was like, "See, you're just taking her side," and hung up on me. So now I'm like driving home, trying to think like, how am I going to diffuse the situation? But there really wasn't even There's none of it made sense. I can't give you an answer why he took the doorknob off, why he did that, and he just kept saying she's slamming doors, and when she wasn't. I mean, because there's times I was there and he took the doorknob off, and I'm like, you need to put the doorknob back on her door. I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. Why are you doing this?
Hmm.
So and then with our oldest daughter together, Koi, which is the middle girl, he was basically her saying that she wanted.
You breaking up a little bit too. I
I'm
think it's,
sorry, can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you, but you're like video, we're breaking up. It's probably just a connection, but we should be
Okay.
okay. Yep, I got you. Yep, now you can.
Okay. So our oldest daughter together, Koi, which is the middle child, he would let her do whatever she wanted to do. So I don't know, if she wanted to jump off the couch, he was like, well, just let her do it. You know, that's, I mean, that's just an example.
Mhm.
He would tell her like, she didn't have to listen to me.
Mm.
And he would call me and tell me like she's not going to school, things like that, when she needed to go to school because she had a, you know, comprehension learning problem. So, you know, she needs to be in school every time the door is open. You
Mhm.
know, need to get the help that she needs. So, and then with the youngest, he was very different with her. Sometimes at times he was nice to her, and then a lot of times he was just mean to her. Um, but for her to be a little girl, she would stand up to him, and a little kid shouldn't have to do that, you know.
Yeah.
Um, he like there was a time he hit her, and I'm like, you know, don't do that to her. You know, I'm like, she's a baby. Like, why are you doing these things to her? You know.
He hit her, you said?
No, he flinched. You know,
Oh, yeah, like flex. Oh, okay, yeah, like okay, I know what you mean.
like flexed at her. But one time we were in the kitchen, and he was like, "Well, who smushed the bread?" Because she came into the room and she wanted a sandwich. So she
Mhm.
wanted butter and bread. She called it peanut butter, but it was just regular butter and bread.
Uh-huh. That's cute.
So I said, "Give me a second, I'll make you a sandwich." So we come in the kitchen. It's just me and all three girls in the kitchen. And so he was like, "Who smushed the bread?" I said, "Probably Kaylee, you know, because she wanted a sandwich and she's little, so she barely can reach the counter."
Right.
So the next thing I know, before I can even get over there, he moved. I don't even know how I even knew he was gonna move. I guess it was just a feeling or something in the kitchen. It was just eerie. He just, before I know it, he just like back slapped her like on her thighs. And I told him if he ever put his effing hands on her again, I told him I would like freaking kill him. I said, don't you ever do that to her. I said, for smushing some bread, so what? The bread is okay. We can get some more bread.
Yeah.
You know, just, but he was just really mean to her a lot of times.
Yeah. Oh, poor baby. So did Gregory ever harm you physically?
Nope, not until September 21st. That was the only ever. Um, only thing that he would do to me was just sleep deprivation, torment, um, wake me up out my sleep. One time had me like backed up on the wall, like yelling, hollering. A couple times I had to like go outside and sleep on the swing because he wouldn't. It had like a three-seater swing that my son bought me. Um, like he would just do stuff so like I couldn't go to sleep.
Like
But he
gaslighting
never
you?
like,
Like, yeah.
yeah, that call me names. He never hit me or anything like that, but just mental verbal torment.
Which is still abuse. And that's why I asked you that question, because I don't want
He
people to
is.
think that it's just a physical abuser. And that was important that you say that, because a lot of people would assume that there was physical abuse, but not
Right,
so much.
and you're right about that because that's one thing I tell people too. Because like when I start talking about the story, and then they're like, "Oh my God, I hate when people just start abusing physically." I say he never physically abused me. It was mental, verbal, and torment. Because we don't equate it all together, but it's all abuse,
Yes,
and
yes,
it's all very detrimental and harmful to you.
yes, I agree. So I know that you're in the works of doing a docu-series and telling your story. What do you hope others will get from the docu-series? And what are you wanting to get from it for you and your children?
Well, what I want from the docu-series is to bring awareness, because that's something that we constantly have to do and must do, because it's still like the stereotype out there, like it's our fault that we're being abused, and it's not our fault. We don't deserve it. Nobody deserves it, whether you're a man, woman, boy, girl. We don't deserve it. We don't ask for this. It's a lot that plays a part in it. Some of like you said, it's a be what's the word I want to use? It could
You're
be
breaking up anyway. I can't hardly see.
I'm sorry. It's I was gonna say it's a society thing. It's also I can't think of the word right now. I don't want to say not hereditary, but it's generational.
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and it's always been said that it's okay, sweep it up under the rug, or and it shouldn't be like that at all. So what my hope is to just bring awareness, continue to be an advocate, a motivational speaker, so that I can help people. I want to just say, well, I mean, that's what my passion is geared towards. But if I can just help one person, two people, or if a bunch of us can come together and help
Yes.
anyone that's being abused, that's the goal. And to always continue to keep my children's memory and legacy alive. And I do this for them and all the unspoken voices. Because they're always going to be a part of me. I can never forget
Yes.
my children, love
Yeah.
them. I'm always honor them. So this is why I do what I do, because I have to fight for them. I have to fight for me. I have to fight for you and
Mhm.
everybody else out here. And this is a ongoing process, an ongoing healing journey, and we have to do this together.
Yes, it's a society problem, like we were saying. It's not just a problem for you, it's a problem with your whole family, your friends. I mean, it took me a long time to know how to be around you and to feel comfortable where we could do fun stuff now. It was a process, it's tough, But what do you say to women or and men that might be in an abusive relationship and they have children with their abuser? What advice would you give them?
That is a good question, and it's no easy answer. And I do apologize because I wanted to have the First Step card and phone number
Oh, you
handy.
can just tell what their first step. You guys
Yeah.
can look. We'll get it to you
First,
on the.
the First Step is an awesome program. They have different locations. They have you can Google it. They have 800 number. They're available 24 hours a day. So if you ever need to reach out, if you need to talk, they can point you in the right direction. If you're ready to make that step to leave your abuser, they're there to help you get connected and get you in the right direction. The thing is, what you're gonna have to do is, as far as like with man and woman with children in that situation, all you really can do is be an ear to listen, continue to talk to them, pray for them, keep them uplifted, because you can't make someone leave, no matter how much you care about them and love them. They have to be ready to leave.
Mhm.
Um, it's not an easy situation. It's not a win-win fix, like, oh, press this button.
Right.
A lot of times they said that it could take them 7 times before they leave their abuser.
Mhm.
So there's not a concrete answer for me to give to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. That's fair to say. It's just tough, and I know that you've been dealing with this PTSD for a very long time. How are you coping now, and what are you doing for yourself now? Because you went from that long period of just existing, and you're I would say, in my opinion, are just starting to maybe try to live. It's hard, it's like, you know but would that be accurate? What you think?
Yeah, I think that's pretty close, pretty accurate. I think 2 years I've been really, really living. Um, with the PTSD, like what you see now is the better portion of me.
Hmm.
What the world has not seen was when I was literally going crazy, losing my mind. Um, when I was on so much medication and drinking and not knowing if I'm going up, down, spiraling downhill, however that word goes.
Yeah.
Just literally out of character for myself. And I know it's just been the higher power that has been keeping me because
Mhm.
There's people that don't come back from that. You can just stay mentally insane and crazy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's people that kill themselves from losing one child, but let alone losing four. But I remember that in the basement, and he was just talking and talking. And I kept saying, like, I am not gonna stay stuck. He was just saying like he was gonna make me suffer and things like that. And that's the voice that I kept hearing when just going, I was just wasting away. I just had dark bags under my eyes. I just looked like walking death. I didn't want to live. I didn't want to wake up. I just go to sleep and wake up like, dang, I'm still here. Like I was just pissed that I was here. I'd rather my children be here than me.
Hmm. How long were
And
you down there?
in the basement,
Yeah.
honestly, I'm not sure, but it wasn't long. It felt like forever because I picked my daughter up from work about 10 o'clock, so we got home about 10:30. So he was talking.
AM, right? AM? Yeah.
No, in the evening. In the evening.
Okay.
So I was just like, he's talking to me, just telling me like, you effed up, right? I'm like, let me just go to sleep because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this man gonna wake me up in a little bit, which he did. So I'm assuming it had to probably be after 11. And then by the time the police got to my house, it was about 1:30 in the morning. So it wasn't that long, but it felt like forever.
Oh no. Oh,
So I lost my train of thought what I was gonna say
I'm
about.
sorry. I just
No,
want to
that's
know
fine.
how long. But
Yeah.
you were saying you were down
Oh
and you
yes.
were this boy.
Oh, so I was just basically like, I just looked like walking death. But I kept hearing this voice saying to me, like, you said you didn't want to stay stuck, right? So it was like that's why I had to fight to live. When I tell people that I'm not, when I tell people that I never meant suicide or anything like that, but I meant like mentally, physically, spiritually, I had to make a conscious decision to live because a lot of times something can happen and you just stay in that rut. And I had to fight to get to where I'm at right now. So dealing with PTSD isn't easy. Because I used to have nightmares, sweats, um, paranoid, constantly triggered. There was a lot of stuff I couldn't even watch on TV. There's still certain things that I can't watch because of the sounds and stuff like that from seeing my daughter being shot. But um, it's I don't it's not as I don't want to say it's not as bad because it's still bad. It's not as bad as it was because at one time all I could see was my daughter every day, all day,
Mm,
like a movie reel, just doing like this. I can be talking to you, and that's all that I would see all day, and that's a horrible thing. That's like what I'm saying, torture, torment, and there's no way to shut it off.
mm.
And just eventually it went away. I don't see it anymore. But dealing with the PTSD is a lot better now. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm,
I still have sleepless nights. It's not like how it was before, but um, I
yeah.
deal with it. I still see a therapist,
Good.
and I'm okay with that. And I might have to see one for the rest of my life, and I'm fine with that. And and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. What do you think has helped you the most in this tragedy?
I would say friends. My friends. The biggest support. I have one main friend. I mean, I have several, but one in particular because we've been friends for like 27 years. So she's seen the good, bad, and the ugly more than my family has.
Hmm.
So she's been there. My friend Kelly. She yeah. It's important. You have to have a good support system.
For
I
sure.
had other friends too, during that time that helped me, wonderful people. So I mean, I don't want to like leave out anybody, but you have to have a good support system,
Right.
and you can't judge. You know, that's the thing. You have to be non-judgmental because you just don't know how someone is going to be, and there's no book, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. You know,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
nobody can tell you like, oh, you should be over that now. Like I've had someone tell me like, oh, you should be over that now. Like what? Like how dare you? Grieving never really stops. You just you find a way to cope with it daily, but it never stops. How can it? Especially when it's multiple people.
Mm.
There- and then I have the birthdays back to back, so there's there's no there's no way. So you find a way to cope, and you have to go on with your life, and that doesn't mean that you're forgetting about your children, but you got to find a way to live.
You gotta find a way to live. Somebody once told me that grieving is love with nowhere to go.
I think
And
that's
that
perfect.
stuck with me. Yeah. It's like it's just love and you don't know where to put it. It's just so we're finding a place to put it
Right.
and being passionate about this and getting the awareness out there. Uh, the book is called The Monster That Killed His Family Twice, because I can't say that word on social media, but they say unalived or whatever, by Faith
Mm.
Green. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't read the book. I did buy it. So I recommend that you buy the book, and hopefully because you don't have
It's
any
Faith Brown. So if they Google it
it's
on the
under
book,
Faith Brown, right? That's right. But I told you that I didn't read the book because when it's somebody personal to you, it's kind of hard. But I think that I am. I
well,
know.
this is what I say. In your own time, don't force yourself. I just appreciate you supporting buying my book, but I mean, don't make yourself. I mean, I'm not a. It doesn't bother me if you don't read it or anything like that. I have another friend. She was like, I can't read it. Like, so the thing is, um, I was talking to a lady yesterday because I went to because it's Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so I went to an event yesterday, and a lady
Mhm.
like asked me, have I read my book? And I'm like, no, I haven't even read it myself. But the thing
Oh
is,
no. Well, I don't feel
so
that bad
but,
then. Right.
but let me clarify. So the thing is, when I finished writing my book and I got the final copy, like when it was all done and like no mistakes, no nothing, I read that. But as far as it being in like book form, like flipping through the pages, I have not.
Okay.
But once I got the final copy and read it, I was freaked out all over again. I had to sleep with the lights on in the house. Like it was like it happened all over again though. But as far as like just like um, you know, turning the pages, I haven't read it like that as a book, but I read my final copy.
Yeah. It's this has been a journey, and we're gonna wrap it up here because I said I was gonna make sure that this is an hour, and I don't have no timestamp. Do you know what time it is?
6:43. We're still doing good.
Okay, okay. So we got about we'll go till 7 because we did start a little late. Okay. So the reason that we're doing this and we're telling the story is for a number of reasons, not just one, but of course for healing for everybody, because grieving is a process. So I even wanted to talk about just you as a person, like the faith before and the faith now. It has to be probably, I don't know, like survivor's remorse has to be there. And so, what do you,
It
I
is.
don't even know how to ask the question, Faith. I'm
I,
trying.
I know what you mean. It is a big difference from how I was before and how I am now. Um, the trauma has like affected my memory. So and then along with the PTSD, sometimes like if I'm looking for something, it could be like right there, I can't see it, and then I have to just take a deep breath, walk away, come back. Sometimes I have to have like my friend, she'll come over and help me look for stuff because I can't find it, but it's there. So like things like that. Um, as far as like I would have photographic memory. I still have it somewhat, but it's a little distorted a little bit. Um, Prior to I still appear to be very, very social, but now it's a little different. Sometimes when it comes to going out, sometimes now I'm like, oh, I get that anxiety and I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Like a lot of people don't even won't and they still don't see that side of me, or if they see me just chilling, they're like, well, what's wrong with you? Because usually I'm bubbly, hype, amped. And then if I'm like, well, what's wrong? Because they're not used to seeing me, just kind of like on my downtime and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, so it is a big difference. Um,
You feel guilty for
um,
having fun. I've always wanted to ask you that.
um, in the beginning, when I started getting to a place where I was, when I came out of the fogginess, I was feeling a little guilty. Then I kept telling my mom and my sister, like, I should have done more with my kids and I should have did this. And
Mm,
my my sister, they literally did me like this. They were like, there was nothing more that you could do with those kids because
nothing.
girl, they were like, you did so much with them. She was like, I don't even know how you did what you did, And one day I was thinking about it because I'm like, between having 4 children, taking them work and, their friend's house or like our friend's house, their extracurricular activities. And then I still would see a lady at the assisted living that I worked with and doing that. And when I was thinking about that one, I was like, oh my God, my head started. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, my mom is right, but you do have that, but you have to tell yourself like you can't entertain it, and you gotta know when to turn it off because it'll drive you crazy, But I
Mhm.
know that I did what I was supposed to do with my children, and I go places and people give me compliments about my daughter and my son all the time. I run into people all the time about them and they tell me how respectful and how good my children were. So life is different now. I do struggle with loneliness because by my older two being older and then the younger two, I didn't have as much time. Well, I didn't have much time with any of them, but with the younger two being so young, I didn't really have that much time. And um, you know, sometimes I think about like I only go so far with it, and then I cut it off because because that depression, I don't want to be in that depressed mode because I'm like, I would still have two at home doing, their own thing. Because my daughter was getting ready to get into a medical program. My son just started his business. And then, I would still have two at home. So sometimes that does bother me, but I do keep like you can see in the background, their artwork. I keep their
Aw.
pictures all over my house.
Oh, I
Sometimes
see Kaylee's the purple one, isn't it?
this is red.
That's
She's
cute.
she's yeah, Kaylee's right here and Koi's is right here.
Aw,
Yeah,
so
so
cute.
I have one friend, she was like, I can't come to your house. I'm like, it's okay, because some people can't take the pictures, but I mean, that's good for me.
Oh
I can't
man.
put I can't put my kids in a box or you know what I'm saying, because I've always taken pictures. I take pictures of everything. That's one thing you'll know
Mhm.
about me when we go out. I'm gonna
Do.
always take a picture, and then some people are like, well, when did you take this? Because I always want to make memories. Like my middle girl, she learned in school about making memories. So that's like we're making memories. So that's something that I've always want to do. So But I just have to push through it, and sometimes try to find things to occupy my time. I do crafts. I'm trying to get back more into that, and in this
Mm-hmm.
time, like when I do feel sad or loneliness, and it's okay to experience it and go through those feelings, and so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's not.
So, in wrapping it up here, this first episode was entitled Red Flags. What do you think were the major red flags? If, like I said, if hindsight, you could go back, what would be the main red flags about your relationship with Gregory?
Um, I would really say just really the mood swings, the attitudes. Um, that's because that's how it started, and then it progressed. Then the behavior started changing, and him doing like the weird little things. And then putting the children like in these weird categories of how he likes them, and um, trying to like divide and put dysfunction in the house. Doing things like, oh, the kids didn't speak to me, and I'm like, I know they spoke, because they're not gonna come in a house, or someone come in the house and not speak. So I started like really paying attention. So what he would do was come in the house and be like, "Hi," like say it real low, and then you're like, well,
Right,
did he speak or not? You know what I'm saying? Like playing them type of little games. I'm like, oh no, you're not about to do this to my kids.
right,
So it started little things like that, and then um one um wanting it to be just the four of us, making little comments like that, or I'm like, oh no, you got the wrong woman, because my children still need guidance. I still have a child that's in high school, and you're not putting my kids out, so like that's not going to happen. So these are all the things that were going on leading up until what happened.
yeah. Well, I am hopeful and prayerful that this first podcast entitled Red Flags will raise awareness. You can get the book, I believe I got it on Amazon. Is it still available?
Um,
Okay.
yes, it's still available on Amazon.
Yep. And it's under Faith Brown. And the monster that unalived my family twice. And support the mission we're having. Like I said, it's going to be a docu-series out soon, telling this story. And this is the first time that it's been told by you. Is that correct? Because others have tried to duplicate it, but it hasn't been your story.
This will be the first time that it'll be told in depth, because I did do a documentary on investigation discovery.
Oh, ID.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so and then the other story that is out, and I do tell people not to patronize that, because that is not my story. That's not something that I can send it to. It's a movie called Smoke. A woman is making money off of my story, so that is not something that I send it to.
Sharing. Yeah, that's sad. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you in probably a week and do this again with some more questions.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna
Thank
see
you all
everybody.
for watching.
Have
Did
a
you
good
want to
night.
say anything? You wanted to say anything else, or you
Oh
think
no, that was it. I was just gonna say have a good night, and then in the near future we will be talking about other topics, and I am very excited about our new podcast, and
oh, this
I
gonna
want to
help
say
some people? We're gonna help some people. I'm
right,
telling
and I want to say our host Helen did a wonderful job, and I
you. Thank
appreciate you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let me stop it.